Oh boy, everybody, what's happening? Welcome to the Yee Yee Show. And as you guys see, we got a special guest in the house. We got Blake Short from Top Dog Digital Solutions. What's up, Blake, brother?
What's going on, Rudy, man? It's great to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to get you back on the show and give the folks, the viewers, an update on the Facebook ad situation because a lot of people have been messaging me off camera and saying, "Hey, what's going on? What's up? Can we get an update? I want to pull the trigger, but I don't know yet." So here's the update for everybody right now. But everything good, Blake? Everything good with you?
Everything's been good, man. I talked to you a little bit about some personal stuff that came up for
Yeah,
me in
yeah.
August, but other than that, things have been really good, man. We're kind of getting ourselves prepared. We got the expo next month, so that's a huge opportunity. And at the end of the day, man, we're just focused on our craft and trying to get better and better every day. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I think are the Yankees in town this week or are you guys over there?
So we just won. I just got a notification with the Red Sox, or not the Red Sox, the
Yeah.
White Sox. So I think we swept them. But Oriole talking's too high right now here in
Yeah.
Baltimore. Been a tough year, so we
Oh yeah.
switched over to football real quick.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're
better than
focused on
my
the Ravens
Giants.
right now.
Yeah, we were trying to go for the wild card, but didn't happen. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
anyways, we got Blake back on the show, and Blake is very very into so many things. But I know Facebook ads. We're really heavily focusing on Facebook ads right now, and Blake's going to be at the Junk Expo, Sonoma County. Matt and JoJo throwing the Junk Expo, the biggest junk expo ever. And Blake is in the house, and you guys are going to be able to talk with Blake. Blake's going to have some of his team there, and it's going to be meet and greet. And I'm gonna need one of those Top Dog digital hats, Blake. So make sure mine says New Era on the side, and you know what I'm saying.
I got you, man. I got you.
Yes, sir. So I've been running Facebook ads now. What's it been 3 months now, my brother? We going into the third month.
We're coming into it. Yeah, we're about 2.5 months, right? So,
Yeah.
so we're getting pretty close. Yeah.
So I have been running Facebook ads, and I've been Blake's team, Top Dog Digital Solutions, has been running my ads for me, and today we're going to talk about that, and get into it for a little bit, and let you guys know how it's been going. Anything you want to say before that, Blake? Or
Nah, man, I want to dive into it because I think we have a really good opportunity here where your ads to showcase something that could happen where it's like not everything starts off as hot as we all wanted to. And I think that's a really good conversation point for Facebook in general because, we're looking at short term and long term. And I think me and you have really talked about that, communicated well to understand, hey, here's what we have going and here's what we're building upon. And we'll dive into that today.
yeah, absolutely. I reached out to Blake and said let's make it happen. If I'm going to have somebody run my Facebook ads for me, I'm going to go to a pro. I'm going to go to an expert who knows what he's doing with Facebook Messenger ads and all that type of stuff. And I just put my faith into Blake, and we've shown you guys this all through my whole YouTube journey that we're going to try these things out, and let me tell you, it has been working. And we get a lot of quotes that reach out to us, a lot of clients who reach out to us through the whole Facebook situation, from messaging through the app that we have installed for the CRM to go through, and then personal, them just calling me. So you get both of best worlds, because some people just call me outright and said, I seen you on Facebook. And then some people go through the lead generator that Blake filters and him and his team filter, and it comes right to me so easily, like boom. And then if I don't even answer it, his team answers, and they take over and say, hey, Rudy, this, have you checked on this, or have you checked on it? I may have forgot. And I go check on it real quick. And it's been 2.5 months now, and you know, uh I think it's been going good. And Facebook ads, you definitely have to put a little time into it. A lot of people, would think that this is an overnight success. This is a home run on the first day, and it definitely takes a little bit of time. You want to touch base more on that, Blake?
Yeah, I do because when you're looking at Facebook, you're trying to build something and build a strategy that's going to last long term, right? So when you come in on the short term, if you're coming in and you're like, man, I want this to hit right away and everything needs to be quick, I don't think that's the right platform. Now, granted, you might get a clean out in the first week and you might be like, oh my goodness, Blake, like I can't believe this. That can happen, but I think when you're looking at Facebook and really a marketing strategy as a whole, if you're going to move forward with one, you really want to have a long term plan and be able to plan accordingly for that, right? So you don't want to just jump in with your last hours or 30 days and be like, all right, I've got 30 days to make this work because you're sort of digging for gold and then stopping halfway to the gold, right? You're digging, and then you stop. You're like, oh, I didn't find the gold. But if you kept digging for another 30,
Yeah.
60 days, you may have found the gold. So that's a hard concept to really understand. And I'm going to talk about why that is. So
Yeah, I
when
think
go
I
ahead,
think
sorry.
I think you definitely don't give up. I seen a meme today on Facebook. You just don't give up because you just never know when it's going to happen. And you could be a day away or hour away. You just don't give up. And you know what I mean? Go ahead, Blake, brother.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? You want to be with somebody you trust because it's very easy. I see the other side of it, right? If you're in the other chair and you're like, well, of course you're going to tell me to wait, Blake, because if it's not working, you can work with me longer. So the reason why it's important is because what you're building, you're trying to build something that is not only bringing the opportunities in, but it's also branding you. And that's where, Rudy, where you start to see that, man, I've been seeing your ad and they're coming from other places. Because now what's starting to happen over the course of 2 months and going into 3 months is people have been seeing the ad consistently. So they're seeing it, seeing it, seeing it. Whereas maybe like the first time they saw it, they didn't react. Okay. But now it's been 2 months, it's been 3 months. They may have had some junk in the garage that's been sitting there from the beginning, but they've seen Rudy's face 10, 15, 20 times and they're going, oh, Mr. Yee, Rudy does this. And I keep seeing him. He's the guy I should call. And this can take place either on Facebook, it could take place on Google, perhaps, right? Like somebody could Google junk removal near me, see no limit, and be like, "Oh, I've been seeing their ad. I'm gonna call them," right? And this is the beauty of Facebook, in my opinion, because you're getting a little bit of both the opportunities and the branding side, but the timeline can be drastically different for everybody, right? As I said, you could get the quick hits and get the big wins, or you're building upon something great. And it's the viral aspect of it. And I think that for just not only ads, but Rudy, you talk a lot about content in general, right? This is the separating factor with content because when you have content that's working for you, it is putting you in a position that your competitors are typically not in. Most people won't do video. So if you are able to really align with that, you are building a trust and a visibility in your brand that then makes selling easier.
Absolutely, my brother. I highly, highly recommend that you guys, separate yourself from just personal to business. And the more these people see you, the more the right audience sees you. They see you have the look. They see that you have the confidence. They see you're authentic. And the more they see that, the more they trust you. You build up a trust. And I'm telling you, Blake has ran a few campaigns for me, and we decided to run one campaign, and that campaign has got over 32,000 views. And I'm like, you tell me if that's brand awareness right there.
Yeah.
If they just keep on seeing you and seeing you and seeing you, eventually get the net. I got one. Get the net. And you never know. It could be that big hoarder clean out. It could be a small one, but they refer you to someone and it's working. But you have to really give this time for the algorithm to build up, and Meta and Facebook to get all the data. I think Blake, a lot of people give up too fast on this.
100%. Yeah, and it's I understand it. I really do. I've said this before. I built from zero, so I know what that's like to be like, man, I've got X amount of dollars, and if this isn't working for me right now, like I need to pull the plug. I totally understand that, but that's going to be fear-based thinking. That's really going to hurt the business long term because you're sort of pulling out of strategies that are giving you visibility and doing things that you can't do alone. If you could replicate that alone, like you said, 30,000 views, and that's what that campaign running with other campaigns originally. Imagine if that campaign was just running solo, what we had. We'd be looking at 100,000 views just on that campaign. So, if you can replicate that, sure, go ahead. But odds are you can't, right? Especially in that set demographic. You can have a viral reel, and you've seen this already. You can have a reel go viral or something, but you can't limit who's seeing that. It's going to go viral across, wherever Meta wants to take it. With your ad, you're saying, hey, this visibility is exactly this set area. This is where I want it to be seen. And
Exactly.
we're in a really unique space, and I don't know if we really truly appreciate it or not. Where if you think about before Meta, the way for you to do this would have been with a billboard, right? To get this kind of visibility. And it would have been somebody who's just driving on the highway and sees your billboard. The trade-off and the difference between Meta is, one, it's cheaper than a billboard, way cheaper. And two, it's tracked metrics so you can see how people are reacting to it, what your cost per lead is, stuff like that. But third, it is designated for the person that you're looking to reach, and they're able to actually take action. Whereas, I don't know about you, Rudy, but pretty rare I give somebody a call from a billboard. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I could barely remember what I had for lunch today, nonetheless, what the
Yeah.
phone number was on that billboard,
I I think you're hitting a valuable point right there, Blake. That I think Facebook ads are the new yard signs. And they're cheaper than yard signs
Yeah.
because some people put a lot of money into their yard signs with QR codes, callback numbers, tracking numbers, and they can add up,
Yeah.
especially in the slow season. And I think of it now that you mentioned that, I think of it, Facebook is actually the new yard signs because you're getting seen so much, but my yard signs are not being taken down or taken from the city or the county or a different junk removal business who's not happy with you because you put a yard sign in their area. But when you reach out to an expert like Blake at Top Dog Digital Solutions, they help you with this. So I'm being seen all in that area and other areas. And I'm not making that mistake where I have ads running in South Dakota right now. And me and my wife just seen yesterday. We seen a company, a junk removal business from Nebraska that popped into our feed. And it was advertising in our area. And I'm like, babe, we don't make that mistake right there because I chose to go with an expert who knows this 100%. This is what they do. I do junk removal. That's what I know 100%. I give my trust into Blake and his team because one, I have the capital. You know what I mean? I put my years in, I put my time in. I'm ready to scale my business, but I'm ready to be seen so much more than just my brothers and sisters in junk removal. Now I want to target that right audience. What do you think, Blake?
Yeah, and when it comes to that demographic, that's a great point. When it comes to Facebook, that stuff's really easy to happen. I know, like, there's some people who get flack I see in the groups who are like, "How could you market to some other area and not notice this?" Facebook has a feature that they added, and it's really easy to miss if you're running through Ads Manager in the back. And this isn't, you probably wouldn't see it in Boost posts, but on the back end through Ads Manager was where we run the ads. You'll set a location, and and it's automatically toggled by Meta, and they'll say reach more people like this. And we've noticed, and because we test and we test and test, if you have that checked, they will expand out of your service area without saying that. Another area, and this can happen from time to time as well, Rudy, and this isn't something that you can prevent. I wish they'd go back to it, but Meta, they used to have a feature where you could pre-select and say, I only want to target people living in the location. They do have something, and this is just so if somebody runs into this, I don't want them to be alarmed. But if they run into this, there's an area and it now says living in or recently visited. So keep in mind, if you have like a one-off thing in your ad, there's a good chance somebody had recently visited that area and maybe they live in Nebraska and they saw that. All right. So that's a one-off. If you do see that, you will know, because if you're getting constant engagement for somebody outside your area, there's a problem, right? If you have a one-off, it was probably either a share or they recently visited the location. So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, they go from here, or they heard from someone that, yeah, Facebook ads is a lot of quotes. I don't get the big jobs from Facebook. That's why I'm holding the brakes, and I'm not doing that because it just seems like a lot of quotes. But sometimes people have to ask a lot of answers. They have to ask a lot of, they have to ask a lot of questions. And they have to see you so many times before they pull that trigger and call to action. And my phone goes off every day from Facebook ads and messenger, and there's not a day that goes by where I don't, you know what I mean, answer a quote or an answer. And that's the thing about Facebook, is that a lot of people, yes they're scrolling, but then they see it, and it's all about that content that you put out there. And I trust Blake, the way he made my reels, my content. He knows how to target the right audience that attracts that, because I would have blabbered on and put a whole paragraph and put everything I do. I'm 5 star. I'm this. I'm licensed. I'm this. I'm also a CPR certified. I would have put all these things on my ad, but Blake makes it so to the point where client he knows how to attract the clients. You want to speak on it, Blake, baby?
Yeah, and one advantage we have with you is content. You know what I mean? And that's great because we're gonna have some people come in and we have this where they've never made a video. They don't know what that needs to look like, right? At least when you're in, you're like, man, I know what that looks like. I know how to do video. But there's a lot of people, you're few and far between. Like a lot of people that come in and we're like, hey, here's kind of the script and the idea. Here's why we're doing it. Here's what it looks like. We're gonna edit it for you as well. We want to piece this together because this is what's working. And that's really helpful because somebody who's watching this, they're like, man, I don't even know where to start with video. And I know I was that way. I've done video now for probably 5 years, but in the beginning, I'm like, what do I even say? How do I even start this? What does this look like? So, that's one advantage. And then the other piece that I want to touch on with what you were talking about is there's a couple different layers in building a junk removal business, or really any business, right? And the first is going to be visibility. Can you be found? Right? Because if you can't be found, where are you going to get jobs from? Right? So that's number one. Okay. Then number two is, are you getting opportunities to close? We're not jumping into jobs right now. Are you getting opportunities? Right? Because you can't close jobs without the opportunity to close them. Okay. So that's layer two. All right. Facebook at a minimum is going to give you 1 and 2 without a doubt. Right? If you have your ad structured a certain way, and you have everything positioned where it needs to be, you are going to get the visibility 100%, and you're going to get opportunities. It's 1 and 2. The gap then becomes, can we close, right? And that's where it's like, we have the opportunities, we have the visibility, can we close? And I think 2 to 3 is where most of the struggles are. And that's the hard part, right? Is being able to take someone to the next level. And there's a structure and a strategy behind that and how you're going about this, right? And what you really want to understand is that I think a lot of times we get caught up, and I do this as well. We get caught up as business owners and we're like, man, but I'm so busy and I could just simplify this and do this, and the customer will work with me. But whether it's Google, Facebook, you name it, like you mentioned, there's an extra layer that sometimes you're just going to have to go through to get that business. And what's cool is when you're doing all that branding and that stuff, it's going to make that sales process easier for you because that customer is going to be more likely to meet you in the middle of the effort, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean there's no effort to be made. There's still going to be effort that needs to be made to close, but the effort that needs to be made, you're closing that gap a little bit because you're starting to become a guy they don't know to, I've seen him, 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 I've seen him. And you see, like, we're closing the gap to the sale now. It's because the trust is there. People like to buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they're seeing it subconsciously. They're going, oh, yeah, that's Rudy. Oh, yeah, it's Rudy. Oh, yeah, no limit home. Okay, yeah. Rudy. Rudy does junk removal. Yeah, Rudy. And then it becomes, all right, I need it. Well, I've been seeing Rudy. So I trust him. I know he does it.
Yeah.
And that helps close the gap. There's still work to be done there. But that's where the time starts to come in and really close the gap a little bit more. Because piece by piece, you're seeing more and more, and you're getting to close that gap. So those are the three structures, right? It's visibility, opportunities, sales. Okay.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people put blame on experts like yourself, and they're not putting the blame on themselves, because half of it is you. The other half is the client. You have to have that confidence. You have to have that look. You have to be authentic. You have to have these things to close, because this is a sales business. You are a home service business, but you're also selling them a service. So the more that you do this, the more you'll get comfortable. And now when you get that comfortable and you have that confidence, no's are not an option. And the more they see you, the more they believe in you, the more they trust in you. I was at Costco a few weeks ago and someone said, "Aren't you that guy on Facebook?" And I said, "Absolutely." I had my uniform on. I was just going in there getting some Gatorades, and the client was like, "Aren't you that guy I see on Facebook with the commercials?" And I said, "Absolutely. I'm Mr. Yee Yee." And then another coworker went behind me and was like, "Yee Yee, I see him on Facebook too." And I was just like, man, I can't. And this is in Costco. This is a major retail store that we trust. I
Yeah.
trust. And I go into Costco because I trust Costco. And
Yep.
that's exactly how, I trust Blake running my ads. And, Blake, if someone wants to start a lead running ads, would this be the right structure for them instead of maybe being scared off by Google because it's the big name? Would you recommend someone starting right here?
I would, because of the risk levels and costs, and everybody's going to come from a different position. If you're somebody, we've had guys, and I'll use an example. We've had guys who sold a business, are coming into a new business, who have some money. All right, they're probably going to go Google, right? They can take the risks. I think this platform is the lower risk platform, to where the things that you're absolutely going to get. You're going to get the visibility. You're going to get the opportunities if you have it structured right. And you don't have to spend nearly as much, because when you look at Google ad spend budgets, you ask around, and roughly you're probably going to be quoted anywhere from, on the lowest end, $70 to $80 a day, upwards to $150 to $200 a day. And not everybody can do that. That's a lot of money. So if you're not able to do that, Facebook's putting you in a position where you can run your ad at $10, $20, $30 a day, which is very minimal compared to what you would spend at Google, which means that your risk levels are a lot lower and you have more time to let that build and grow, right? Because you're not just seeing your bank account minimize $100, $200 a day.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest cap right now. If you're starting out brand new, being able to do that, because most new companies don't have a lot of visibility, right? They're brand new. They're just building their brand. So my suggestion is always, either if you're going to go marketing, you go Facebook ads, or you go heavy on the platform of Facebook and Instagram in either groups or just your profiles, in building that viral sense of getting in front of people. But that's very hard to mimic without ads, because you have to go viral, and not everybody knows how to do that.
Yeah, and I think that I can tell you 100% right now that my phone rings more with Facebook, running the Facebook ads, than Google. And a lot more people, it's been proven, a lot more people use Meta. A lot more people are on Facebook. And yes, maybe a lot of people are not looking for junk removal or home service at that point, but Facebook knows how to put it in front of their face where they will catch it. And it only takes 1 second for you to catch someone's eye. Then they see it again. Then they see it again. Then after work, late night, they may have got on Facebook for a minute. Then they seen you again. Then the way that you post on the groups, your before and after pictures of your day, then they see you more. And then when that ad runs, then they see you and they just keep on seeing you. And I think that's the recipe. Like, I keep on seeing Jake from State Farm. I keep on seeing Patrick Mahomes on a commercial. I keep on, you know what I mean? That's the whole algorithm that we want to see, right?
Yep, and they're planting the seeds for the people who might not need it right now as well. Because the cool thing about the junk removal industry is, like, it's not a set person needs junk removal. Like, anybody can need junk removal. Literally anyone. Somebody who owns a house, somebody who rents, somebody who knows somebody else. Like, there's an opportunity. We know what our demographic is, right? It's typically going to be mid 30s, over 30s, right? And women are going to be our best bet. But there's men who need it too. I can
Yeah.
tell you right now, like, I got a junk removal guy here that I work with locally, and I'm not driving the stuff to the dump. I'm just like, hey man, what's up? I got this. I don't
Yeah,
want to waste my time. I'm a guy. I'll spend a little extra money to save time. So
yeah,
yeah, it's probably cheaper for me to try and lug it in. Which, by the way, I love my vehicle. I ain't trying to lug stuff in there.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, Especially
yeah.
nasty stuff.
I
So it's like everybody can be a fit, and those people leading up, Rudy, that may not need it right now. You're planting the seeds, and they're seeing you, and eventually they're going to have some stuff that piles up in that garage,
yeah.
or they're going to have something that comes in. And the flip side of this too, that I like, is you're getting ahead before they search. So even if they do use Google to search 3 months from now, as I mentioned before, when they see No Limit, they're like, "Oh, I know that name. I've been
Hmm.
seeing ads from No Limit."
Hmm.
You think they're going to call you or the guy they haven't seen?
And also, when they go on Google and they scroll down, your Facebook is going to be right there.
Yep.
And your Facebook and all your posts and pictures, all that's going to be right there because they all stick to it. They all follow Google. So if they want to make sure that Google wants to make sure they click on everything, because that's how Google gets paid, clicks. So, and I think with the age group, I think yes, we target a certain age, right? But I've got jobs from 20-year-olds,
Yep.
from teenagers, like, hey, I got to get this done. I rented a room out. I can't have this. Yesterday, we got a job. The brother seen us on Facebook and referred us to his other brother, 22-year-old kid out of the services, and I gave him a nice military discount. But it was from Facebook, from them seeing us, and of course they waited last minute to move out, but they seen us and built that trust and say, hey, call him in. And I give in-person estimates. I hate giving, as you know, I hate giving prices over the phone. It just gives people, it just gives people what they want, and now they can shop with that price. And I
Yep.
know you're highly against that, Blake. What do
I
you think?
am. And, we've worked with a lot of people. So we know what the pushback is. If somebody does it, they're like, well, gas is expensive and it's a waste of time if we go out there and we don't get the quote. I think what you're spending to get out there in comparison to what you're losing to not do it is a vast difference. It makes more sense to go there and do it.
Yeah.
This is the one thing you can't take everything away from the major franchise, but this is one of the things you do take from them because it
Mhm.
works. Your closing rates are much higher and you're building rapport and you have more options. At the end of the day, when we talked about those layers, right? When it was visibility, opportunity, sale, one of the biggest ones there in that gap is because most people give price, and that's where the leverage is to the next step. So once they give price, it's like, oh, 250. Okay, well, I could just call around. And your competitor, they're like, hey, I have these things. I was given a quote of 250. They're probably going to be like, yeah, I'll probably do that for about 230,
Yeah.
245, right? And the other piece that you're missing is the rapport and being able to actually physically meet someone, have a conversation, show who you are, show how this works, and show them that you care. And this is an easy process. And it gives you some wiggle room too, because if you got there and let's say, give you an example, let's say it's a half load, right? And they can't afford it. That could happen, right? Well, you're already there. So you can now negotiate in a way where it's like, okay, well, I understand you can't afford this half load, but how about I take some of these items out of your way today with your budget, and then we could always come back a couple weeks from now or whenever the budget is appropriate. You can't do that over the phone. It's not going to quite work the same, and they're going to be more likely to do it because you're already there. So, whether you need to negotiate a little, whether you need to just build that rapport, I think in person's your best bet because that relationship, as well as the luxury of you being there, is it's heightened in the importance of just getting it done. They're like, oh, you're already here. Like, I don't want to have somebody else come here. You seem like a great guy. All right, let's just make this work. And I know I've felt that way. There's been things I've been quoted that were higher than I wanted to, but I'm like, you're already here. Like, time is money. Screw it. Let's just go with it.
Yeah, it's absolutely important to get through the front door.
Yeah.
Once you're through the front door, you're 80% there. So, there's a lot of times where I go to clients' houses and, y- I just can't afford that. That's just too high. That's just this. And we as junk removal businesses, we are the small businesses. We're not franchise. We are the small businesses. We can adjust our prices and we should adjust our prices. You're doing a job, but you're gonna gain so much more. You're going to gain. That person can tag you on Facebook. That person can tag you on that group. That person might be in 5 different groups, and that person can tag you in all those groups, and now you just built that trust. I have gotten so many jobs on off of Facebook, and people have tagged me, took a picture of my trailer and my truck and me, and put me on their Facebook. And that built so much trust where they have had, hey, you did my friend Susan's house. I need you to come give me a report now and come give me. And that's just, when you're the smaller business, you can adjust your prices. And that's the bottom line. You should be adjusting your prices, helping your community, uh, 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 doing a good service, and you're here to serve because you're going to gain so much more in the long run. If you keep up that rapport where you got to have this certain price, you're going to miss out on a lot of money. And maybe Facebook ads isn't going to work for you because it's you. It's not Facebook, because that's why you got the job, because of Facebook ads. But it's you who didn't go there and close the deal. You know what I mean, Blake?
Yeah, and we're never the type, and you've seen the way that we work, and the conversations me and you've had. We're never the type. We're not here. We want to communicate, but there's no blame that's going to be placed on one side or another. At the end of the day, like if you have something that's systematically not working, or we feel like there's a gap, I'm going to do my best to address it and have a conversation with you, but it's a partnership at the end of the day, right? Like it's on my end to get you the opportunities and do everything I can to put you in position to close them and help you with that. And then on your end to close them and do the things that are help fill in the gaps, right? It's a partnership. For instance, like if you didn't give me video and I don't have video, it's going to be harder for me, right? Yeah, I could run a campaign and I could probably get some success, but it's not going to be quite as successful as the video because I know what that looks like.
Yeah.
And we look at it when we look at this at the end, but the goal is the same. It's a common goal. We want to grow, we want to be more visible, and we want to build a better business. And I do believe in our system and what it does and the layers that it opens up to get there. Whether it's overnight and it happens quick, or whether it takes some time and we're building that and people need to see us a little bit more. We believe in it. And it's mainly because I've done it for my own businesses, 2 different ones. And I've done it for many different junk removal businesses and other home service businesses and seen it. So, what we're starting to see is now we're getting to that mark where it's starting to really click and it's starting to pay off for us. And now we're just, Rudy, we were talking about before we hopped on here. Now we're just like, all right, what are the final little details that we want to finagle to now take the opportunity to sell, right? And to
Absolutely.
put ourselves in that best position because now we got the first two. We just want to keep closing. So now we're getting the everything we want.
We
And
are.
you piece it together, right? And you partner together on making that happen.
We're definitely building that algorithm. We're getting the data that we need that's showing us what avenue to go into. And I think this just takes time and patience. And I think for a new business, and they want to scale, or they want to just be seen differently, I think Facebook ads is the way to go, because it's going to put you in front of that client's face on their phone, either when they're at work, when they're at church, when they're just in the seat next to their spouse on a 2-hour drive. Guess who keeps on popping up? And they say, hey babe, this is the guy I'm talking about. We need to get him to clear out that treadmill. But that's going to give you that algorithm of that brand awareness, where you're going to keep on being seen, like Blake hit on earlier. And I've said it too, where I mentioned it, but I think, Facebook is the new yard signs. And they don't get taken down. They don't get taken down. They just keep on getting more and more and more and more and more and more seen. And you can plant them everywhere if you do it the right way. Because, yes, you can run your own Facebook ads, but there's more to it. You can reach out to Blake right here at Top Dog Digital Solutions, and you can learn so much. Blake is a good dude. He's just not in it for the money. He's not in it for the money. He's in it to win it with you. Because if you win, he wins. And that's what the bottom line is. And that's why he's going to be at the Junk Expo. That's why he's at the Junk Expo, and he's spitting that game. And he's going to come to Northern California. And we're going to we're going to be able to meet you, Blake, and have fun and mingle. You got 2 days of people. You got 2 days of going on, Blake. What do you think about that?
I know, man. I'm excited. I am. I love you touching on we're not in it for the money. Because we're business owners just like you, man. But we care. Like we
Yeah.
want to see everything work out, and we genuinely care about our clients. Like
Yeah.
when we look into this, when somebody partners with us, they're giving us their trust. And from the beginning, the relationship is, look, I want to be transparent on everything to expect. There's no promises, there's no guarantees. It's like, here's what I want to see out of this, and here's what I'm building. And if
Yeah.
that works for you, we're going to partner together and hopefully be able to do this in the long term to really build this out to be something that can be great, that we want it to be.
Yeah.
I had a great conversation with someone the other day who actually purchased one of the companies that we were working on. And he has another business, of course. And he talked about how he's had that business for 17 years and they don't run any ads, they don't do anything. It's a dumpster rental business, and they do about $100,000 a month. And the reason why I bring this up is because what he did in those 17 years, he put all the hard work and the grunt work in and the visibility of that business. So they became a household name after 17 years. Okay. With Facebook, you were trying to replicate that household name in a way smaller amount of time. Because once you get that, once you become that name, everything else becomes easier. And that doesn't mean, hey, you're going to run Facebook ads for 5 years and be $100,000 a month. But it might get you to the point where now you have enough visibility where you're starting to be at 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a month in those 5 years or those 3 years. The goal as a business, again, falls on visibility and opportunities. Okay. And Facebook is the area where you're going to be able to push how well you are known and how often you are seen. All right. Google is going to be the place where, again, you have your SEO, you have your organic stuff, and you're seen there and you're getting opportunities, which is great. I love SEO. That's going to be another pillar. And then you have Google Ads, which is the big money play to, hey, that person is looking for, and I want them to see me now. All three are different puzzle pieces. But Facebook is the visibility with opportunities at low risk to where you can get them today, you can get the visibility today, and you can start piecing it together. So
Mhm.
when you're new, that's kind of where you're at.
Yeah.
You just need the opportunities. And that's what I like about Facebook. I always suggest SEO and I suggest the other things, and I'm not against them, but you might not be able to do SEO right now. You may not be able to. I don't know. You may not even be able to do Facebook ads right now. And if you can't, then you focus on at least Facebook and Instagram as a platform with your content and your SEO stuff. You get to that point where you can do it because all of them are important. The only one at this point, really, that has the biggest question marks is probably Google Ads. And it's just because will you get to the point where you have enough money to run that and feel safe doing it?
Hmm.
You know?
I think Facebook ads helps you with a brand authority, with being seen everywhere. If you got a GMB and you're already posting and you're putting up content on there, boom, you're being seen there. If you got an Instagram and you're putting up content and you're using the right keywords, boom, you're getting seen there. But now when you're already posting on Facebook also, because Meta owns Instagram, so they're going to, if you're
Yeah.
connected, you're going to
Sure.
see both. You're going
Yeah.
to see both. But now with you running Facebook ads, now your brand awareness, your authority just got bigger. And I mean, I was surprised when I seen over 30,000 people seeing this reel, seeing this video, seeing this ad. And I'm just like, wow. I showed my wife, I said, babe, look what Blake did. Look, you know what I mean? 30,000 people have seen, I think it's almost 33,000 now. But how look at this. And that's brand awareness, brand authority, where you're being seen everywhere now. And that's the key thing. Yes, you guys are posting on Facebook and Instagram, but if you have the ad running also, you're tripling, you're quadrupling, you're five timesing, you're getting seen so much. And that's what's going to have people trust and pull that trigger to call you. Or someone like all the time with me, someone gets shared and they call me. The husband, my wife shared this to me. I got to call you now. And that's just it, is that I would say the biggest thing right now bringing me money right now is Facebook ads. Is Facebook ads, and I get seen all the time. And I ask people every time I meet them, how did you hear about me? And once they say Facebook, I already know. They don't even have to say the ad because it's just too confusing. They're just like, just Facebook. So I already know.
Most of them don't know the difference.
Yeah, they don't know the
They're like,
difference. So
yeah.
even though
And and it pairs nicely with everything else. And this, that's what I was saying when it comes to, like, for those of you who are doing SEO, right? You're doing SEO, like, your SEO guys could be pretty happy when you run some Facebook ads to give you visibility. Why? Well, if your SEO guy got you in the top 3 of the map pack, and then somebody does a search and they see you in the top 3 and they've been seeing your ad and the other 2 they haven't seen a Facebook ad, again, which one do you think they're going to call in the top 3?
mm-hmm.
Right?
You're
So
talking.
you're helping your other areas, your Google, not just with Facebook, you're helping your Google, you're helping these other things because of the brand. And that is where it really comes in, and it can be a separating piece because it's doing multiple things instead of just one. And then the other piece is, it was funny, I meant to mention this earlier, but I had a lunch with a client yesterday, and he said that he's ran Facebook ads with us for 2 years. He's got 4 different campaigns. He's got one that's been running from the beginning that just always took off. It's been great. It's got about 250 comments. It's been seen over, it's viral. And
Yeah.
he said he worked with a guy last week, and the guy said, I just want to tell you, man, you're annoying. I see you all the time. I always see your video. I'm sick of seeing you. And the guy laughed. He said, but that's exactly why I'm working with you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, because he said, I must have seen your video on Facebook hundreds of times to the point I'm like, I can't get away from you, and we've been talking about how, like you said, at Costco, that viral, just, man, I've been seeing you so much that you just feel like a star, like,
Oh,
like a celebrity.
it's I
And
walk around my chin up in the air like this.
and we're not here for that, right? But
No.
I've never been that guy, so I'll be the first to tell you. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
that would kind of make me like, oh, I don't know how to
Blush.
feel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
should have seen my wife. She was like, "Don't. Oh my God. You just
yeah,
made his head this big. You just gave him Jack
yeah,
in
yeah,
the Box head. You just
yeah.
oh my God."
But but that's important in understanding the way people see a company and a business and how they involve themselves with it. When you look at marketing as a whole and big product, little product, you see when something is marketed a specific way, it really expands and grows, especially with a good brand. A
Yeah.
good example right now would be Liquid Death, the water. It's just water,
Yeah.
but they branded it so well and they made it look cool, right? This cool, like, bottle, and
Yeah.
it's got a unique name, and people will pay and
Yeah.
get that. And it's just water,
Yeah.
but it
That's
was branded.
you are so on point about that, Blake, because I just watched the Netflix special last night, Vice. Vice went broke. You know what I'm saying? I said Vice, and but the way they marketed it, then they sold it to Disney and all this. I'm just like, and that's what it's all about. That's what's going to make you stand out. That's what's going to make you look different from the others because they can post a gallery of photos and do this. But once you work with the expert like Blake Short and Top Dog Digital Solutions, you're going to be seen different now. You're going to be seen as a brand and someone who cares to run ads. And when people see that, that trust is being built and built and built. And I strongly suggest you guys reach out to Blake and just get some information. And it doesn't hurt to get some information. Reach out to the guy and say, "Hey, Blake, what can you do for me? I want to be seen different. I want a bigger audience. I want the right audience now." And you'll be surprised what Blake can do for you guys, because Blake's going to keep on running my Facebook, and I mean, I'm just like, there's no need for me to do it when Blake is handling his business and his team, and his team is there for me whenever I message them, or if I make a text message. They're there to follow up quick. They're there to follow up quick, and they reach out to me once a month, and you know what I mean. There's a there's a review. There's a review. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And Blake is always there for you guys. And I highly, strongly, you know, recommend you guys, especially if you guys are new in the game, or you guys now are have a little capital, and you're just curious about ads, and you want to be seen. Because I'm telling you, Facebook is like number one. Meta is seen by so many. They're seen by so many people. I think Meta leads it in what ads.
Your customer is on Meta. All right.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't they are on Meta. This is not a platform where some people are on it. They're on it. Your clientele, they're on it. Okay. And you want to understand the factor of Meta, in that, because I see this sometimes where people are like, oh well, the cheap customers are on Meta. Those are the same people as the Google customers. Like, it's not like there's a couple people who hang out on Google and a couple people who hang out on Meta. That's the same person. The difference is the buying cycle, right? And that's where the time gap starts to really play out. Because if someone is intent on buying, that's where you want them to be, right? And what Facebook is doing is, you got that person who maybe they're not on intent on buying yet, but they've been seeing it up until they're intent on buying. And now they became, instead of being all the Facebook cheap customer, they're the same Google customer, right?
Yeah.
Because the buying intent is there. But the difference is now, instead of just waiting until they got on Google and hoping that they call you and you close, now what has happened is they're like, I already know Rudy. And now you have a leg up, because they've got to that buying cycle, but they've been seeing you for so long that you're the trusted one. You're the one they've been seeing.
No
And
doubt.
and a lot of people don't run Facebook ads effectively. So with that being said, your competitors, they're probably either A, not running the ad properly, or B, not running them at all, which means that now you are in an ocean of your own. You are the guy who's constantly being seen, while your competitors, yeah, they might be on Google, and Google can be great. We understand that. But if they keep seeing you and not them, they're going to call you on Google before them,
Mm-hmm.
because the trust is there. So it's just building up upon that. And I'm always open to have a conversation. Rudy will be the first to tell you, I am not a sales pressure guy. All right. This is the same guy that you're seeing right now, laid back. My conversations are simple for anybody who's curious. I want to know a little bit about your business. I want to make sure that we're a fit, and I want to make sure that we're not already in your area and I have an opening for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if those things align, along with a budget that you have capable of running this with us for a long term, then we'll make it happen. If not, I'll give you actionable steps that you can take to get to that level and prepare yourself either way.
Yeah. Blake has many doors for you to walk through. He has many doors for you to walk through. If you want to go a different route and you want to say, "Hey, Blake, what about this?" Blake can help you walk through that door also. Blake's been in the game for a while. It's not overnight. You know what I mean? You check his YouTube out. You can find him on YouTube. What is it? A Top Dog Digital on YouTube?
Yep, we got Top Dog Digital Marketing Conversations. I just had Matt and JoJo on. We got to get you on here in the next couple weeks. And I just had one of the biggest coaches in the junk space on today. So we're starting to reel some videos out and get back active on there. But you'll see videos with a blurry webcam that I did back in 2021. So I've been in the game.
Yeah, and I want to speak on a few more things. I think a lot of people speak on it as Facebook, Meta's only cheap quotes and cheap jobs. But if that cheap job gets you a Google review, get you in an algorithm, and then gets you that client that always is going to call you or refer you or even tag you on Facebook. You don't think that cheap job was worth it? That you gained so much from that little cheap job, and you gained that client's trust, and that client's working for you now because that client is posting on their Facebook, their reels. They're so blessed, and you call it a cheap job? No, no. I call it a cheap advertising. That's what I call it, because go play with the Google. Go play with the other ones. Go play in the other parks. You know what I mean? And I love some SEO. You know, what I mean, the
Yeah.
Yee is some as an SEO guy now, and but this is where it starts at. I think a lot of people are afraid, but now you see Mr. Yee, and I'm one of the guys who admit everything. If I'm paying for SEO, if I'm paying for Facebook, if I'm paying for Google, if I'm paying for Yelp, I'm going to tell you guys. I don't have nothing to hide. I want to scale. I want my business to scale. I don't want to be behind the wheel anymore. I want to grow where I don't have to be behind the wheel, but I got to make sure the jobs are coming in to feed my trucks, to feed my guys what they need to get paid. You know what I mean, Blake? What do you think about that?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And you're looking at, like, when it comes to the cheap customer, I love going into that topic because we just talked about that, where these are the same customers that are on Google. It's the buying cycle, right? But let's talk about that, for instance. Because what you're doing there is you're putting your business on a pedestal. All right, you're placing yourself above certain things. In my opinion, if you are not in a position where your seven figures are above, every opportunity is extremely important to you, because that single item pickup, I'll tell you guys right now, on top of Facebook, we've done text campaigns for about 5 years. We do cold email stuff for property managers and all this stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a smaller job from either just a regular person or a property manager or a realtor that turned into a clean out months later, or turn
Yeah.
out to somebody who does business with you once a month or once every 3 months. So when you're placing yourself above that certain job, you are leaving out an opportunity for repeat business. You are leaving out the opportunity for a Google review that'll help you get more business. You are leaving out an opportunity for word of mouth and referral, and you are hurting yourself,
Yeah. And
especially if you're not at a seven-figure run rate or above, because you more than likely have the capacity to take that job on, which means that you should. I'm not saying that you need to do any and everything. There's a price to be set, and I get that. But don't ever put yourself above certain job types, because those job types turn into larger things and larger opportunities.
And I think that seven-figure company is taking those small jobs.
Oh, they
They're
are.
not they're not turning that's how they got to be seven
Yeah,
figures.
they
You,
are.
some of these franchises, they're taking every job because they want to get in the door.
Yeah, Got Junk runs that mattress special every year for like $50. There's a reason, because it gets them in the door, and then they can upsell, and then they can claim that person as a customer. We had we have a client. Well, he used to work with us. I have keep a great relationship with him. We did a lot of different things, and we still talk all the time. But they're about 3 million a year now, and they take everything. He said they call themselves service sluts. They'll take whatever they can get.
See?
And
That's how you.
he's at 3 million. So
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I say that threshold because if you don't have the capacity to fill it into your calendar, okay, I can understand that.
Mhm.
But I think at any point really you should take it. But if you're not at that capacity, man, if you're not at a point where you can't fit that in, you do everything you can to fit that in, because the opportunity is there.
I run a junk removal business, and every junk removal business will tell you we can always use more work. That's
Yeah.
just it. You know what I mean? And that's just part of it. And so I wanted to mention also, Blake, that Blake and his team also run so many email blasts to so many local businesses in my area. I've had so many businesses reach back out to me and say, hey, I've got your email. Thank you so much. And, please send me the right information so we could put you on a vendors list. And I'm not doing anything. Blake and his team is looking and finding all the local businesses in our area, and there's mass emails being blasted. And I even had a I even had a local business in my area that does the same thing I do. And they also got the email. And they were like, hey, man, whoever's doing your email blast, it's not working. In my head, I said, no, it is working. Because if they emailed you, they found you. And
Yeah.
that's what they do. So that person took it as, hey, man, you need to fire that guy who's doing your email blast. I got it. I said, nah. And I didn't even tell that person that. But in my head, I told my wife, you see, that's what he's even hitting the smaller businesses, not the big businesses. He's hitting every business that's in my area. Boom.
Yep.
And
And
that's
they got
what,
the wrong mindset too, because they're looking at it like there's a relationship that could be built anywhere, right?
yeah.
So it's like for us, those emails, guys, roughly we send about close to 700 per client a month. So it's about volume. That's a volume play. So
Yeah.
what we want to do out of that is we want to hit this volume and then get the quantity out. We want the right person to raise their hand out of that large segment and be like, I have a relationship with you. I need this. I have this going on. Or we just had a drug removal guy. Do you know what? He stopped showing up. But man, it looks like you guys who do this, we got jobs every week. Can
Yeah.
you handle this? And there's a reason we do these emails, man. They work. That
Yeah.
quantity has worked for us time and time again, and it pairs nicely with what we're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely. And here's another thing. If you're spending money on yard signs, if you're spending money on yard signs, if you're spending money on candy bags, if you're spending gas money, you're spending your time, wear and tear on your vehicles, guess how much that adds up to every month? When you could skip that and you can work with Blake and Facebook ads and you could reach triple that than what you could do behind your wheel, or like like what everybody says, yard signs, realtor offices, apartment complexes, businesses. But imagine if you just said, you know what, let me try Blake out because I spent this much money a month on all that. But let me try Blake out, and this right here, this is my budget. And you get that one job that's a clean out. You get that one job, or you get 2 or 3 jobs all month. You get 10 jobs all month. That paid for all of that. That paid for all that, and your data's growing, your algorithm's growing, your brand awareness is growing, and now you're different. You're not like the rest of them anymore. That's what I highly suggest, is that you guys reach out, and reach out to Blake Short and his team, and Top Dog Digital Solutions. They're I would say they're probably number one in my book in Facebook ads and running. They can help you with so many Blake's websites and everything. I've seen Blake's work with the websites. Yeah, I've seen my competition. I see what's going on. I go all the way down to the bottom and say, who created this website? Hang on. So
Yeah.
you
We've
watch
got
him
some
a
skin
lot.
in the game, man, and it comes with time. There's other great marketing companies out there. We're not the only ones. I think when it
Yeah.
comes to Facebook, though, and Joke Removal, you'll see a lot of those great marketing companies reel back to us because they know, we have a unique system that follows that, and that's where I started.
Yeah.
So I think even though we do other things, it's been sort of understood. Well, Blake has done this since day one, and Top Dog Digital really has a framework built. And I think that's the difference. It's in the frameworks itself of being like, look, we know this space, we know it very well. We know what it looks like to go from 0 to 10K. We know what it looks like to go to 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 40 to 50, onwards and onwards. And we're replicating a lot of that just in different markets. So for us, we have the proven things that work. It's just, hey, that criteria and that stuff that we've set, which one of them works the best in this market, right?
Yeah.
Which one of
Absolutely.
them is speaking the most in this market? How is this market reacting to certain things? And those are really that's kind of the finished product of it all, which is cool for us because if Without that, if you come in from scratch, you're thinking, man, let's say an ad's not working for you. You're like, is it my video? Is it my ad copy? Is it my location? Have I not? There's so many questions that you're going to have to answer for yourself. Whereas for us, it's like a lot of the data and a lot of these things have been proven and working in so many markets that I can go, oh, okay, well, it looks like that one's not working in this market, but I got this one that's worked really well. Let's go with
Hmm.
that. And that's what one of the things me and you looked at, right? We're like, hey, we've got a couple of these things we're testing. We got these 2 videos, but this one's really working. Let's go all in on this one because it's giving
Yeah.
us what we want.
Yeah, I think Blake, you have definitely earned your position on the mount, and you definitely earned your position on being at the Junk Expo.
I
And
appreciate it.
that's absolutely, my brother. I salute you and I give you your flowers. What I mean, before, what I mean, it's too late. And I give you your flowers up front in front of everybody. And you're at one of the main events going on this year over here in Northern California, the Junk Expo. And you're going to be there and you're going to experience what I got to experience last year. And I got to experience, the brotherhood and sisterhood of junk removal. But now it's so much bigger now because they learned from the first one, and now part two is here, and there's so many other speakers, there's so many other ways to help you and your business grow. And one of them is Blake Short, who's going to be there. I highly suggest you guys reach out to this guy, and don't sleep on it. I'm trying to tell you guys, wasting money on this, on that, on this, on that, on this. But if you were to run an ad and see where it goes, you'll be surprised how different you are. And I think the people have been waiting for that. And I'm here to put the seal of approval on it. Mr. Yee put the seal of approval on it. You guys better stop playing and reach out to Blake before it's too late. Because if someone else reaches out to Blake in your area,
That's
yeah,
it.
that's it. You know what I mean? Because there's other people in my area. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Blake, you better
That's
not.
not fake scarcity, guys. We do exclusivity. I will turn somebody down and say, I'm sorry I can't work with you because I've got such and such in my area.
And
It's the right thing to do.
there's people, feelings get hurt fast. Feelings get hurt fast when they hear that you're working with him.
Yeah. We-
you know,
I did have somebody who we had about it happened about a month ago, and they were like, "You can't do anything for me," and I'm like, "No," and they weren't very happy, and I did feel bad, but
yeah.
I'm doing right by my clients, and really, I'm doing right by them. That's how it should be.
It's all about the trust, and I highly trust you, and I believe in you, and we're going to keep this partnership going. And Mr. Yee endorses this product right here, and I'm trying to. I only bring this content to help you guys. I don't bring this content to rob you guys, or what I mean, the gift of Gav, or he's getting something from it. I bring it to you guys because it works. Give it time, let it run, let it happen. It's like you sit it and forget about it. That's how it goes. It's going to come back more and more and more. Just give it some time, but a lot of people are impatient. You got anything else, Blake?
No, man, I think we touched on everything. I'm super excited to be here, excited to talk with the expo, man. Let's keep building this thing.
Yeah,
We're This is still short term, right? I mean, wait till we hit 6 month mark, 9 months, 12
yeah,
months of
yeah,
letting this thing really grow. So I'm sure we'll talk more if we get to those points. But I
yeah,
appreciate you having me on here tonight, man. I really do, and looking
yeah.
forward to meeting you and anybody else who's going to be at the expo.
Oh yeah, make sure you guys tap in with Blake. He's Blake Short, Facebook. He's is it Blake Short on Instagram, or is it just Facebook and
No, I'm on Instagram as well. You can find me on Instagram. You know what? I just changed my handle for IG.
It's
So
okay. You you can reach out to him, Blake Short, on Facebook. Trust me.
yeah, that's probably the easiest. TopDogDigitalSolutions.com if you want to look
Mm-hmm.
more up on the company itself. We're on YouTube. It's Top Dog Digital Marketing Conversations. You'll
Yeah.
find us there. So whatever's easiest for you, I'm easy to find. Hit me up on Facebook. Shoot me a DM. Schedule a
Yeah.
call with you.
Second time on the Yee show, and you're gonna see him more and more and more. And we're gonna work this together. We're gonna bring you guys more input, more data, and we're gonna bring you guys facts of how this is going and how it keeps on going. Because as we're coming to the slow season. So, but we're gonna bring you guys facts and how we're staying up there because of our brand awareness. With that said, make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you guys want to link up with Blake, I'll leave the his information in the bio. and you guys can click on that link and get connected with make an appointment with Blake Short, Top Dog. And you guys, he's all over the place. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. If you look there, if you look there, if you look over there, if you look over there, I'm everywhere. You know what I mean? But Blake, stay on for a second. Let me just end this call. Thank you guys so much. Yes, yes.